What is your dream scenario?
It comes down to this, because in all this stuff we talk about, and I felt like talking to John Schmelk, he was on Pod Strickland with us, and we sort of teased this out, talking out loud about like cap space and what it's used for, this and that. And we all kind of came to the same thing. Until you have a young player on your roster who you think is like a legit player, like he is going to be a multiple all-star for you, in this league, you kind of have nothing, because then you have to now go out and get one. So meaning you're either trading for one or you're going to get one in cap space. Knicks fans are tired of talking about cap space and talking about trades that they never make. And not saying they never make, meaning like they want them to make them, but just meaning like they're always rumored in these big deals, but we know like they're usually not the one, they're not the one that ends up with the player. But that's all fine. And we can all talk about patience, but you don't, if you get to the end of this year and it is clear that RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, none of these guys are taking that step forward, that's a problem. And you're hoping you're surprised, like we were talking about with Toppin. But until I want to get to May and just say, okay, I feel good that someone of this group, whether it's RJ on a rebound, or I shouldn't even say on a rebound, because that's unfair about his year. Well, so let's just say RJ on a it's complicated. RJ,
I think it's the title of a movie.
Yes. RJ on a step forward, or it's Toppin surprising everyone. You need that. And that's what needs to happen. I mean, I just think people, it's like with the James Harden stuff going on right now. It's like, you just look across the league. We all know this. It's the NBA. Until you get one of those top players on your team, either you drafted them or you went and got them, you really have nothing. And the Knicks finally have kept their draft picks. They finally haven't traded the picks. And then when they made the picks other than Porzingis, they have kept them on the roster. We now need one of those players, or hopefully more than one of those players, to prove to be worth something. And that's where I want to be in May. I don't care about the record. Just tell me. I just want us all to be like, I can't believe we were all low on Obi Toppin. Like we all love him. I just want something like that to happen by May.
I'm with you. Someone needs to pop. There's three paths to happiness. One is what you just said. Someone needs to pop. Two is they get the number one pick in the draft. And I guess that may not happen in May. We'll see when that happens. Right. Or maybe Jalen Suggs or Evan Mobley or one. I know you don't even know who the guys I'm talking about are, probably.
I got two of them now.
or Jalen Green, who's one of the G League guys. Like one of those guys has a. I was about to say a Morant-esque rise, but Morant rose from like 23rd in the preseason rankings to second. So it wouldn't be that, but like establish himself as like a future, like a Cade level guy, whatever. They need to get a pick that's high enough to end up whether it's 1, 2, 3. That's number 2. And 3, they come out and shock the world and are like in the playoff race. Right to the end. I don't even care if it's a race for the 10th seed, whatever. They're like really in it until the very end, playing whoever the hell Tibbs decides to play. But they are like feisty and like, you know, I'm trying to think of like similar teams, like Hornacek Suns team, or I know you'll appreciate this one. Talk about an old school one. Doc Rivers Orlando Magic team that had like,
there you go.
Who was that? There was an Armstrong, Darryl Armstrong.
What's it? Darryl Armstrong. I think that's right.
I think it was Darryl Armstrong. Yeah.
So I was thinking Nick Anderson at first, but that wasn't the Doc Rivers team. That was way back.
No, that was even older.
Yeah.
Like that Magic team who was like, you know, again, feisty, like some kind of.
Well, funny enough, I thought the place you were going to go is the Memphis Grizzlies team with Fizdale. Like,
yeah, but they had a lineage of being good.
They had some veteran, but they did have that feisty. That was sort of what
that's true.
They did have that feistiness to them where it was like they would get turnovers and turn them into points and, you know, whatever. But no, I get what you're saying. And a lot of Knicks fans see, maybe that's a good thing to end too. I'll ask you a question. Are you upset? And it sounds like the answer is no. If they end up being that the dreaded in the middle where they finish ninth some ungodly way, which would be largely outperforming their expectations, but it would take them out of the lottery. Would you be upset with that because it takes them out of the lottery?
If this team finished with the 21st best record in the league, that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
I don't see how anyone could be upset about that.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because that's the point, is that everyone says the Knicks, if they end in the middle, what's that matter? It's like you end in the middle with this roster because that means your young players had to be really, really good.
It would be almost impossible. It would be almost impossible to end up there without significant positive winning contributions from at least 3 young guys, I want to say.
Exactly. So that's why that is one narrative this year I want to push aside to people, is there is no more no man's land. The no man's land is actually like Paradise Island for the Knicks, because that means that, like you said, 3 of the young guys were so good that they couldn't help themselves but exceed expectations by like 10 wins.
Yeah, so lots of paths to happiness. Will we get any of them? I don't know. Of the 3 that I mentioned, we win like 30. How many games would we? So we win. Let's say we win 30 games. We go 30-42. That's path 3. Path 2 is they get the number 1 pick. Path 1 is Obi or RJ or Knox or Mitch or whoever, like pops as like a future All NBA player. Yep. What do you think is the most likely path?
I mean, you'd have to say it's number 1 pick just because they're most likely to have the best odds to land a top pick. I don't even say number 1 pick, but like a top 3 or 4 pick. I mean, they're supposed to be the worst team. And if that's the case, your odds are you're going to finish with the top 3 or 4 pick. But you know, the least odds is that they end up with the 9th seed. So I would say they just end up with 20 wins and now they have a top 3 pick by the probability. Or RJ, I'm going to say RJ or Toppin. I mean, those are the 2 I think that obviously offer the most potential to pop.
I think Toppin pops. Toppin pops. How about that? Toppin pops. I think Toppin pops. And I bet here's one more. I'll end on this. I haven't talked about this guy much, but I think Kevin Knox is good. Let me rephrase that. I think Kevin Knox is good compared to what he's been.
That wouldn't be hard to do.
That's a good place to end it.